mic Google Meet mic. Is better, sir. Mic better. Yes. The record start again. Hello. Yeah. Good morning. Am I audible there? Yeah. Good morning. This is Dr. Vaibhav Chate, and I'll be the subject teacher for occupational safety and health. And the subject code for this one is 18 CV 662. And to be precise, the subject name is occupational health and safety. So before giving the introduction to the subject, first let me introduce myself. I'm working in this particular institute from the year 2009. That means my teaching experience is around about 12.5 years. And previously I was associated with SPAN Consultants for nearly 1 year, and I worked in Asian Development Bank related projects, which includes water supply and sanitary projects for the North Karnataka. Coming to my educational qualification, I have done my PhD in civil engineering science, and I have undergone post-PhD research interaction at IIT Madras. And my research interests are in the field of environmental engineering, nanoscience, and nanotechnology. I have my skill sets either in the design of experiments, and I have my skill sets in AutoCAD, MS Word, Excel, Minitab softwares, all these things. So I'm the referee for a few of the reputed journals which are from elsewhere. So namely the Journal of Environmental Chemical Engineering, Construction and Building Materials. Apart from that, I'm also the reviewer for V2 Journal. So coming to the subject part. So this particular subject is mainly for all the branches of engineering, irrespective of the discipline you are going to be in. That means it is applicable for architecture, it is applicable for aeronautical engineering, mechanical engineering, IS, CS, E&C. So all these branches will be covered, and that means this particular subject is going to help all the students, because at the end of the day you are going to work in a particular organization. That means wherever you are going to work, you should see that your whatever the safety is there, that is being addressed properly. That means this particular subject is of special interest for the employees and employers, irrespective of the organization, whether you are in teaching field, whether you are in the industry, whether you are in the software company, whatever the profession you are in. So this particular occupational health and safety is going to play a very important role. Anyway, in the coming slides, we'll just try to understand why it is important. So this particular course learning objective for this subject are, we are going to first understand the various historical developments that took place in connection connected with OSHA, that is occupational safety and health, right? So in this particular case, we are going to investigate the current occupational safety and health problems and solutions. And apart from that, we are going to mainly describe the forces that influence the occupational safety and health. And apart from that, we are going to explain the knowledge and skills needed to identify the workplace problems and safe work practices. So what are the functions of this OSHA? OSHA stands for Occupational Safety and Health Act, right? So that means here in this particular case, the functions includes workplace inspection. That means it starts with what kind of the workplace is like, whether you got classroom teaching, if yes, what kind of the tables are provided to the students, what kind of chairs are provided to students. So what kind of the tools that are being provided for the teaching learning process. If we are going to provide some kind of chair to the student, whether it is ergonomically correct. So we need to address so many things. That means so OSHA covers workplace inspection. That is one of the function that is covered under OSHA. Apart from that, we are going to go for citations and penalties. So if some observations are there, if some non-compliance report is going to appear in that particular case, those particular employers should be laid down with the penalties. So it is applicable in case of the industries, right? So if the industry is running without any safety norms, and if the worker loses the hand in case of that, so he becomes the victim. So in that particular case, the penalties has that means penalties have to be laid on that particular industry. At the same time, we need to see that we are going to give some kind of compensation to the worker who is going to work in that particular organization. So that means on-site consultation is also part of the functions of the OSHA. Voluntary protection programs. Okay, so again, when we discuss in detail with respect to unit number 1, we'll be discussing in detail connected with the voluntary protection programs. Training and education, this is very important. Employees have to be trained and educated in terms of the occupational health and safety is concerned. So coming to the next part, so what we study in the unit number 1. So in the unit number 1, we are going to study the history and development of OSHA. We are going to study the national safety policy, why this particular OSHA is required, and what are the policies that are already in place for the particular organization. And Occupational Safety and Health Act, what exactly it is, and what is the difference between Occupational Safety and Health Act and Occupational Health and Safety Administration. So here we will be dealing with laws governing the OSHA and right to know. And in the unit number 1, we are going to study what is called as the accidents. See, as per the study, we could make it out that 98% of the accidents can be eliminated. So if we have to eliminate 98% of the accident, that means the workplace should be designed in such a fashion that we are going to eliminate all the hazards. So it might be connected with placing the wires. Okay, so it might be connected with the usage of the switchboard. So if the switchboard is of lower quality, that means there might be fire hazard. That means we have created a fire hazard. That means the accident has happened because of usage of the poor quality of the product. That means somewhere we need to address these things. So those things will be studying in the unit number 1. And apart from that, we are going to understand the supervisory role in the accident investigation, how to investigate, how to go for the right observations so that non-compliance report can be prepared. The second unit is connected with ergonomics. Now, when I use the word ergonomics, I hope few of the mechanical engineering students might be knowing regarding this. That means, so how we have to sit, right? So if the chair is not of so good quality, or the design is not ergonomical in the ergonomic manner, so in that particular case, there might be some problems associated with the poor ergonomically adopted chairs or tables. Okay, that means ergonomics means it is a study of the design of work in relation to the physiological and psychological capabilities of the people. Now let me just show it with one particular sketch here. So that means, what are the frequently occurring occupational induced disorders? So that means it might be connected with lower back pain. If the chair is not good quality, or if it is not designed as per the ergonomical manner, so in that case we may have lower back pain. Or our posture may not be good. The chair may be good, but the posture in which we sit, so that may not be in the ergonomical manner. So in that particular case, we may have a lower back pain. Okay, carpal tunnel syndrome or tendonitis. So these are few of the examples that will tell that these particular disorders happen because of poor ergonomical design at the workplace. Okay, that means creating a safe work environment is part of unit number 2. Okay, so in this particular case, we are going to understand so what are the human errors that are in place in case of the ergonomics at the workplace, and we are going to discuss what is called as fault tree analysis. Okay, so that means emergency response, decision for action, purpose, and consideration. All these things will be part of fault tree analysis. Okay, so the third unit. Okay, I'll come back to this particular. Okay, the third unit is connected with what is called as fire prevention and protection. So when I say fire prevention and protection, we need to understand that every time if there is a outbreak of fire in a building, all the people may not die because of directly coming in contact with the fire. There are other gases which will be emitted due to fire hazard, and in most of the cases, the percentage of people getting killed due to inhalation of those particular gases will be at the higher percentage than compared to the people who will be coming directly in contact with the fire. That means if we check overall, we'll come to know that gases are the most lethal matter that is going to cause the death of those particular people. Okay, that is connected with unit number 3. So unit number 4, that means in the unit number 3, we have discussed with respect to what is called as the fire hazard. Now, every time we may not use the fire water to extinguish the fire. Please understand. If there is a short circuit and if the outbreak of the fire has taken place because of short circuit, if you pour the water on the electrical lines, see, instead of extinguishing the fire, you are going to see that its intensity will get enhanced. So every time we will not be making use of water to extinguish the fire. So that means what kind of approach and method is required to extinguish the fire, what are the norms, what are the causes for the fire hazard. So if we say that US is a developed country, say in spite of that, how many fire hazards happen and what are the reasons and why there are some failures, and because of that the deaths will be happening over there. So we need to discuss those things. So those things will be discussed in unit number 3. Coming to unit number 4, here we'll be discussing with respect to what is called as the health considerations at the workplace. So that means we are going to go for building a better health. That means in during this particular COVID time, most of the workplaces were thinking of going for better health. That means we used to that means each one of the employee used to be screened for the temperature. He was made to wear the mask. Each and every citizen of India and across the world, if you check, so we were made to follow some hygiene, right? It might be connected with washing the hands, or wearing the gloves, or wearing the masks, or wearing the aprons wherever required, and maintaining a distance of at least right 2 meters or 3 meters, something like that, right? So these were the some of the things that we have followed. That means these are few of the things, not 100%, right? So in detail we are going to discuss how we have to go for better building of the health at the workplace. That means first we need to understand which are the types of diseases, how are they are getting spread, what are the health emergencies that are required at the workplace. So apart from that, you will be uh, 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 told to know various personal protective equipments. We call it as PPEs, that is personal protective equipments. And apart from that, how to behave at the workplace, right, is also one of the important things. Apart from having health services at the institute, wellness programs at the institutes or the organization, focus on the nutrition, alternate approaches, right? Whatever it is. So that means we need to understand how we have to behave, and what are the personal protective equipments that need to be carried at the workplace. It might be connected with the industry or the institute, whatever it is. So how we have to behave during the emergencies as well. So in this connection, we'll be introduced with what is called as the topic, that is personal protective equipment, health emergency. These things you'll be studying in this particular module, apart from environmental management plan and solid waste management, because each and every organization generates solid waste. So how to manage that particular solid waste at the workplace is also one of the important aspect. The last unit, that is unit number 5, focuses on what is called as occupational health and safety consideration. So that means it might be connected with the industry, it might be connected with the laboratories that we have at the institute level, it might be connected with the chemicals that we handle in the research laboratories. Okay, and what are the roles and responsibilities of the workers, managers, supervisors, engineers, or teachers at the workplace, and what are the do's and don'ts for this particular uh, right laboratories that also needs to be addressed. All these things you will be studying in this particular unit number 5, called occupational health and safety consideration. And you'll be introduced with a few of the case studies which are relevant to the industry in the unit number 5. That means some case studies will be introduced so that you'll have an idea how this particular OSHA is going to help. Why this particular OSHA is again important? See, nowadays the stress level at the individuals is getting enhanced. That means we need to address this particular stress management. So stress management is again part of OSHA. That means it might be connected with the positive steps in job related stress management. See, you might be earning 10 lakhs per month, but few days later you will commit suicide. That means if that is a kind of stress in which you are working, that should not be, right? So in that particular case, how to manage the stress? See, that means having more EQ, emotional quotient value, is important rather than having more IQ. So that in this connection you will be told to understand what is stress management. So how to evaluate these particular stress levels. Okay, it might be connected with what is called as alcoholism, abuse of illegal drugs, abuse of legal drugs, or personal crisis, or emotional problem, and due to this the person will be coming under stress. In that particular case, right, how to overcome this particular stress and other things. So this is also part of the OSHA. There are few textbooks, right. I'll be referring to one of the subject, one of the textbook called Calling DA. So the title of the textbook is Industrial Safety Management and Technology. Okay, so 1990 edition. So that's what I am referring right now. And apart from that, I am referring to one of the other textbook that is connected with the occupational safety and health for technologies, technologists, engineers, and managers. So these are the two important books that needs to be referred if you are going to opt for this particular subject called OSHA. Okay, at the end of the course, the students should describe the hazards in the workplace that pose danger or threat to safety or the health. The students should also explain the coherent analysis of potential safety or health hazard both verbally and in writing. That means some course activity will be given so to achieve this particular course outcome. So a few of the students will be made to deliver seminars, so to discuss the role of health and safety in the workplace pertaining to responsibilities of the workers, managers, supervisors. And a few of the questions might be asked connected with explaining the decisions required to maintain protection of the environment, workplace, as well as personal health and safety. That means what are the steps that needs to be followed. Okay, so that means we have the CIE marks component as 30, that is 30 marks for 2 IAs. That means each IA will be for 15 marks. 10 marks will be for the assignment. That means two assignments will be there. That means each assignment will be of 10 marks. That means totally it will be 20 and it will be reduced to 10. And we'll be having 10 marks for the course project or course activity. So total, that means we'll be having 30 plus 10 plus 10. Totally it will be 50 marks. And SW examination will be for 100 marks and it will be for 3 hours. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Professor Shashank Wangi. My area of specialization is remote sensing and GIS. So that's why from Department of Civil Engineering, I am offering remote sensing and GIS as an open elective, and it is open to each and every branch in KLS GIT. So before going to start the presentation, I would like to explain why remote sensing and GIS is familiar with all the branches, all engineering branches. Remote sensing and GIS is basically a multidisciplinary field. So anyone can involve and anyone can work in with this field. As the name indicates, remote sensing. Remote sensing is very familiar to the electronics and communication engineering as well as electrical engineering. And when it comes to geographical information system, it involves data management and raster data analysis and vector data analysis. So GIS is very familiar to the computer science and information science students, and aeronautical students can also involve in this, and they can also learn flight planning, and they can also contribute towards the collection of data. So before going to start with the basics of remote sensing, I just would like to discuss some of the end products from remote sensing and GIS. So, such as the best example for remote sensing and GIS output is Google Maps. Nowadays, every one of you are using Google Maps in your day-to-day life while traveling from one point to another point. So, Google Maps, Google Earth, and even some food delivering companies such as Zomato and Swiggy are also using this kind of technology to deliver food from one point to another point in a shortest time with the shortest path. Ola Cab, Uber Cabs, Air Maps, even some of the social medias are also using this technology extensively. And this is all familiar with everyone. It is not linked to a particular branch. So everyone can make use of this technology. And coming to the who is using remote sensing and GIS in the international level, some organizations such as the World Bank, UNEP, FAO, and WHO are using this technology. Private industries such as transportation, real estate, and insurance people are using, and the government sector such as ministries of environment, housing, agriculture, and local authorities, cities, and municipalities are also using nowadays. Drone, as you all know, drone survey is very popular, and all the survey records are is converted into digital form with the help of a drone survey. And some of the non-profit organizations are also making use of this technology, and along with this, academic institutions and research institutions are also using extensively. So coming to the concept, remote sensing and GIS. Remote sensing is basically getting information without being in contact with the object. It involves digitization, data extraction, pattern analysis, surface modeling, digital terrain analysis, feature extraction. So whatever the information is required, we can capture it without being in contact with the particular object. That is one of the advantage of remote sensing. And one more advantage of remote sensing is we can get the information what we can't see from our naked eyes. So we can look beyond the visible spectrum. Some information such as thermal information or near infrared information cannot be captured with the help of our eyes. So that information we can capture with the help of remote sensing technology. And once the information is available, that we can process it with the different layers by using geographical information system. So this is how the remote sensing and the geographical information systems are connected. So, and along with that, this syllabus involves photogrammetry and drone technology, where we can do the survey by using a drone, popularly known as UAVs. So one thing I would like to highlight over here, sometimes it is very easy to represent the information in the form of image, so that irrespective of any language barrier, anybody can understand the information which is presented in the form of image. Usually in this remote sensing and GIS world, we represent the information in the form of maps. So it is very easy to read, anybody can understand irrespective of language. and we can show the entire scenario in the single page. So that is one of the advantage. Here you can see the distribution of McDonald's stores across the world. By looking at the picture, you will get to know the entire idea of the whole world. So that is the main intention of this technology. So here also you can see one more example, such as worldwide driving orientation by country. Here, by looking at the image, we'll get to know which countries are using left side orientation and which countries are using right side orientations. So instead of mentioning the data in the form of table, we can mention it in the form of picture so that anyone can understand easily. So coming to the subject, the whole subject is divided into 5 parts unit wise. The first unit is going to deal with only remote sensing part, and second unit is going to deal with sensors and platforms. In third unit, you are going to learn aerial photogrammetry. In fourth unit, you are going to learn geographical information system, and in fifth unit, you are going to learn coordinate system. So with this, I just would like to brief each and every unit. So coming to the remote sensing, when it comes to the first unit, you are going to learn introduction about the remote sensing, ideal remote sensing system, basic principle of remote sensing, and electromagnetic radiation. As the electromagnetic radiation plays a very important role in remote sensing, so the knowledge of electromagnetic radiation is required. So along with that, you are going to learn interaction of electromagnetic radiation with the Earth's surface as well as atmosphere, and how to capture the information and what is the use of electromagnetic radiation or capturing different materials which are present on the earth. So here you can see the different elements which are present on the remote sensing process, how the energy is captured by the satellites. As you all know, sun act as a source of energy. Whatever the energy which is coming from the sun will fall on the earth, and the same some part of the energy will be reflected back, and the same energy is captured by the satellite. So this is how the process goes. So you are going to learn this process in detail in the unit 1. Coming to the unit 2, in unit 2 you are going to learn different remote sensing platforms. When it comes to platforms, we have 3 platforms such as drone based platforms, aerial platform, and space platform. So to get the information about the earth, we need some kind of sensors which may work in the visible spectrum, near infrared spectrum, thermal spectrum, or microwave also. So different sensors which are involved in this remote sensing process that you are going to learn in this unit 2. And also along with the sensors, you are going to learn a global positioning system, where we can capture our real-time position with the help of satellite signals. Along with the GPS, the DGPS is also included. Nowadays, the knowledge of DGPS is required for surveying purpose at high precision. And also along with this, you are going to learn some of the applications of GPS as well as DGPS. And here you can see the different kinds of platforms which are available for remote sensing: the ground based, aerial based, and spaceborne. And each and every platform require different kind of sensors uh, which can capture the data without any intervention of the atmosphere. So based on the platforms, we need to decide the sensors and their specifications. So the about the sensors and specifications, you are going to learn it in the unit 3. Sorry, unit 2. And coming to unit 3, unit 3 will be dealing with aerial photogrammetry. The concept of aerial photogrammetry is needed nowadays to do the drone photography. If you want to convert the photos into meaningful information, and if you want to convert the photos into the measurement unit, so that time aerial photo concept of aerial photogrammetry is required. with the help of aerial photogrammetry, we can measure the dimensions of the buildings, dimensions of the features which are present on the photos. That is one of the advantage of aerial photogrammetry. So here also there are different platforms are there. We can keep the sensors in different platforms and we can get the information about that particular object. So ultimately we can convert the photos into maps. So this concept is very familiar with aerial photogrammetry as well as for drone photogrammetry. So here you are going to learn the actual concept which is involved while taking the photos through the drones, and also you are going to learn flight planning. For example, if you want to capture one entire city, how many flights are required, how many flight lines are required, how many photos need to be captured. So everything you are going to learn in the aerial photogrammetry. So this is one of the best example where you can see earlier we used to capture the photos with the help of planes. Earlier drones were not available. Nowadays drones are very economical, anybody can afford it, and we can carry out the survey wherever it is required. We can do it as a sometimes what happens, we can't depend on the satellite images. Sometimes satellite may pass to our required location, or sometimes it may not pass. So that time when data is not available, that time we can make use of drones and we can capture the required data. So that is one of the advantage in this aerial photogrammetry. And also we can convert the photos into the maps where we can measure the distance from one point to another point. So coming to the unit 4, in unit 4 you are going to learn the fundamentals of geographical information system. So up to unit 3 you will learn only how to capture the data by using remote sensing process, by using different platforms, different sensors and photogrammetry. And in GIS you are going to learn how to combine all this data and how to process and how to develop the map with the meaningful information. So in GIS, you are going to learn the different components of GIS, different data structures which are available under the GIS. So how to combine the different kinds of data available, and finally how to process it and how to convert it into the meaningful map. So that you are going to learn in the unit 4. So once unit 4 is over, before that, here you can see the best example of GIS, where we can combine, we can take the data from different sources and we can combine different data and we can create a real world representation. Sometimes what happens, we'll get some data related to the water from the hydrological department. Sometimes we get the data related to the buildings from the municipalities, and we get data related to the forest from the forest department. So we can take the different source of data and we can combine and we can create a real world uh, representation, and also we can find the relation between one feature to another feature. Sometimes the development of our city may affect the growth of the forest. So like that kind of analysis can be done. So this is possible by using GIS. So once you all are familiar with remote sensing, aerial photogrammetry and geographical information system, finally you are going to learn the integration of all these things, because to create a map we need to integrate all these things, then only we can create a map. Along with that, coordinate system plays a very important role, because as you all know, earth is not a flat surface. It is not having flat surface, it is having a curved surface, and there is no defined shape for the earth. It is not perfectly spherical. So that's why we need to convert that spherical shape into a flat surface to represent it as a flat map. So that time that's why the coordinate system is required. So you are going to study about the coordinate system in the unit 5, as well as integration of remote sensing and GIS and few applications. So it may be related to your field or may not be related to your field. But as I can assure you that some of the applications are definitely related to your field, and any field, irrespective of your specialization, can make use of this technology, and you can use it for the solving process in your specialization. So this is all about the open elective of remote sensing and GIS. So here you can see some of the integration process, how we can integrate. Once we get the data from the remote sensing, we capture it with the help of satellites or drones, and then send it to the data processing, and there the people use GIS for processing the data, and finally it is sent to the user. And one more thing I would like to highlight in this session. Recently, GATE 2022 has included geomatics engineering as one of the separate GATE paper. Uh, it has been started from this year, and most of the syllabus, whatever I have presented, is similar to the geometric engineering, which is defined by the GATE. Here you can see it consists of part A and part B. If you look at the syllabus, almost all this remote sensing and GIS has covered almost all portion which is offered by GATE 2022, and the same syllabus will be there hopefully in the 2023 also. You can study this subject, and you can appear for 2023 GATE geomatics engineering. So nowadays, many jobs are creating under geomatics engineering. It does not require any specialization, particular specialization. Even if you are from the IT and non-IT, you can join the companies which are working on this geomatics engineering. And also from our college, we are offering IRS ISRO outreach program. Our college is a nodal center for offering this IRS ISRO outreach program, and at free of cost you can enroll for this particular course, and you can make use of this. And most of the programs are very similar to this subject. Once you get into the subject, you can do the many courses from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. Okay, this is all about the subject. Thank you. And you are all welcome to take remote sensing and GIS course as your open. Thank you.